Horizon TV, the beacon for the nation.
Gives you an equal opportunity and chance to become better than you were yesterday. Here at Horizon TV, we pride ourselves in making your morning better, brightened up, and so much exciting. Hi, my name is Yusuf Farah, and this is Tech Tuesday. As is custom, we're going to have two segments during the show. We'll start by the newspaper review, and after that, we'll have Tech Tuesday. Now, on to my guests. Good morning, guys.
Good morning to you.
How are you?
Very good.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Hosea Makori,
Yes.
a student leader at ZTech University
Yeah.
and political enthusiast. We have Muhammad Sultan.
Yes,
You're
I'm an administrator.
an administrator.
Yes.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you so
And
much.
Yasmin Mohammed, of course, former student leader at ZTech University and now a journalist.
Yes.
Without further ado, let's get to it. Remember, guys, you can check us out on our social media handles on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. That is at Horizontv Kenya, and send in your SMS at 21953. Shall we?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's start off with the Daily Nation. And the topic is Arunga faces 25 years in prison. Now, there's a dead child, a husband facing homicide charges, and question about her mental state. Can this once high-fly lawyer journalist wiggle out of her biggest challenge yet? What is happening in our country? Where are the morals that we used to have, and what is it that we are seeing from people who are previous role models? Let's start with you, Makori.
Well, for the moment,
Yeah.
much is taking place that we are yet to ascertain maybe the legality or why these things are happening. So then that brings the question that you've asked. Are we still into those morals that were inculcated unto us by our forefathers or our fathers previously? Yeah, we've lost so much in terms of bringing up people well in the society, and we've lost it so much in terms of being good role models in the society. Hence, the cases that we're seeing here. This is a homicide case whereby a parent is involved in taking away the life of his or her child. And then, when that person is taken to the court, she's ready to defend the person who does that. So it shows that we really are not up to what we are required to be up to as a society or as individuals here, in the country.
Muhammad, who do you think we have to blame for this?
I think we have to blame ourselves. And there's need for a national dialogue so that we sit down and have a relook at ourselves. In fact, our morals have actually gone so low to the extent that we can kill our own children. So there's need for us to go back to our cultural values and also religious values. Because if one believes in his religious values and accountability before God, then definitely he cannot do such a thing. So there's need for us to sit down as a nation so that we can have a talk seriously on this matter. Yeah.
Possible remedies?
I just think the level of immorality that has brought us to this level is like so disappointing. As a woman, I feel that it's so unfortunate because there is no more beautiful gift than having a child. I don't think someone in his own sane mind can actually gang with someone else to take the life of that child. And something is actually wrong. Things don't add up. You can't just make this shit up. This woman needs a solution. Society needs a solution. So I think us as women, we have to go back to ourselves and look into ourselves like, what is this that we are chasing, that's chasing us from our kids? What is chasing us from how our mothers raised us? Yeah.
But then again,
What is this that?
can we also as children be put to blame for the things that our parents do to us? Because the reverse also can kind of make sense. Macquarie?
As a child, or as a child, you're depending on that parent. So there is that place that the law of nature demands that whatever the parent says, it's the final decision that you have to go up to. We've brought up in that way that we tend to believe that whatever things our parents are doing unto us, they are the correct. Like, it gets to a situation whereby even a minor is being defiled by the parent or either by the father, but then she cannot speak it out because it's the father who has done that, and then she's meant to give that respect to the father. So like, it's now growing into us that we are shying away from speaking it out, because there is that way that they brought us up thinking that we supposed to get whatever things they're saying, that they're the correct things.
Muhammad, is the African mindset or mentality of raising the kid in any way to blame for this, in your opinion?
Not really. In fact, our African values children so much. And from your first question was that can the children be blamed on this? Definitely no. A child is very innocent, and he's a reflection of he's a product of the parent. So as a parent, you have to be responsible to bring up that child, and that child has a right to live. Just as you as a parent, you have a right to live. And it is actually from these things that we do to our children that makes them who they are. If we parents are positive in life, definitely the child will be positive in life. And if you as a parent, your life is negative, the child will definitely be, his life will definitely be negative.
How about the things that these people, that the children in this case, pick from the streets as they grow up? Because there's the being raised at home and the values that are inculcated in you, but growing up from maybe the streets or the people you're around, you also get to learn a few things and they can influence you.
Yes, those children in the street are not they are not falling from the sky. They are definitely coming from homes. So the children in the streets should actually be accommodated by the community. We should embrace them, we should teach them the right values, and so on.
Can I say something?
Yes.
Yeah, on that matter concerning the children that are getting some things from the streets. No, when it gets to that point that a child is going to the street to either learn something, then here from the household, like, it shows inability with the parents. So that's why, like, if the parents are capable of bringing up that child in a proper manner or giving out all the basic needs that are being required by that child, there will be no point of that child getting out to the streets, going to learn other different things.
Okay. Yes, ma'am.
Macquarie,
Yeah.
I think a child is a child however long he lives, but like you see now, like you come to university, you still your parents' child, and the way Muhammad said, you can't blame the parents. There's as long as the child is the product of the parents, still there are some things our parents taught us. Our parents I know parents who have given the best upbringing to their children, but you see the children's character, it's the different, complete opposite. Now you wonder, where has this parent gone wrong? Because it's the environment, like he said, thank you. It's the environment. You leave home, you come to Nairobi, you come to the city, you learn new things. You are not the person your mother gave birth to. You are someone else. You learn new things, you are blindfolded, you are brainwashed, you are someone else. So I think it's the environment of the child again, and it is so unfortunate our parents don't have like a complete control over us, because we are adults, we've come to get a degree. So we come to get a degree, we have 5 other degrees behind us because of whatever other things we are doing behind them.
Yeah, just on the same note, I think we should go back to the old days where we were brought up by the community, not only our parents. If somebody who is the age mate of your parent sees you doing something wrong, he tells you this is wrong and he can punish you there. And this actually made us who we are today. But as we speak now, children belongs to their parents and their parents alone.
On that matter of children just belonging to their parent, is it the role of the government institutions, the religious institutions like the madrasa, or like the environment at large, like you said, the community? Is it really the parents who have the role of playing when it comes to raising their children rightly, or is it this other institution?
We should all come together, but the first responsibility lies with the parent.
Okay, now let's move on to the standard. School crisis as new intake rules cause congestion. Now, we've all seen the 100% transition ruled by Magoha, but we're seeing that it's also kind of making congestion come in schools. Where are we going wrong?
You know, where we're getting this wrong is that we're making out, like we're trying to bring out new rules or new guidelines, but yet we don't have the proper solution to them. Yeah, like we want all our kids to go to school, but then are we providing all those amenities that are being required in school for the school to accommodate the students? So that's where we get it wrong, because yeah, we are ready to bring out the positive things concerning the education system. We bring out the proper curriculum, we're setting out the proper things that are being required in school. But then when that number, because now these children will be eager to get back to school, because now education has been made affordable, education has been made readily available for them. But when they get back to school, when they get to school, they find that there's no way might lead to him dropping out of school because he's not getting it all as he expected.
Okay, Yasmin, what do you think should be done to tackle this?
So probably
I think the government should really be serious with how they are really tackling this education thing, because it's very unfortunate that we blind ourselves. I don't know, in a span of 5 years, how many cabinet secretaries are changed in the education sector. Like throughout my high school life, I remember like every year was a different cabinet secretary, and you find out that every cabinet secretary comes with new rules. So it's a confusion to the student, the KCSE things, and I don't think like the government really has an impact in the grassroots things. So I don't know. I think we deserve Matiangi back. Like we really need Matiangi back, but we cannot live for Matiangi all the time. We need someone else, and someone that can really awaken all that. And because the education sector is like another level of sadness, and we recently realized how many things are going on in schools and how unfortunate these things are happening, boarding schools and these things. So I feel like the government really has to sit down, because education is just more than having board meetings, ribbon cuttings, launching things. We really need to go to these schools and follow up on these things.
Hold that thought. Sultan, we've seen curriculums being brought in, day out, teachers being trained, but then again, it seems not to be working. As we wind up, what can we do?
Now, I think first we should understand that acquisition of knowledge is a basic necessity to our children. And the government is there to make up policies that will make these children be productive later in life. So if you make policies and you don't provide the infrastructure that is required for these policies to be implemented, then definitely you are going to fail.
Okay,
yes.
That thought up. We're going to take a quick break, but when we come back, we're going to go into different newspapers and tackle the headlines. Remember, the hashtag is Sabah Show Live. I'm your host, Yusuf Farah. Don't go too far.
Horizon TV, the beacon for the nation. On the next episode,
sisi saa nyingine hatutia akilini kwamba tuna silaha kubwa na dua. Na dua Mtume sallam anasema adduau mukhul ibada, ndio kiini cha ibada. Kwa hivyo mtu hata mambo ambayo huyawezi, una hali ambayo si mzuri mtoto wako, una hali baina wewe na ahli yako, una hali ya maradhi yamekuja katika kwako kwa watoto, tusidharau dua.
Qur'ani kitabu changu, Qur'ani mwongozo wangu, Qur'ani mwombezi wangu, Qur'ani pumbao langu, ni kitabu chenye haki huipati.
Horizon TV, the beacon for the nation.
Sabah Show live with me, your host Yusuf Farah. Before we went on the break, we were talking about the school curriculum roles and the congestion that was being caused. But now we come in with a different angle on the Business Daily. And 2 billion at River Estate home buyers are facing auctions. Now it says residents of Sunset Boulevard, a middle-class estate, caught unawares by dispute between the developer and I&M Bank over a loan owed to the lender. Now, put yourself in the shoes of someone who's bought a property here, and now just someone comes and tells you, you guys need to go. This property is on auction.
Really sad. Yeah, previously for the past, I guess, a month or 2 months, there have been stories that have been going around about properties that have been stalling, properties that individuals invested in them, expecting like after maybe 5 years, they're going to get homes of their own, of which they're going to rent out and get some money, get back the money that they invested into the properties. Now, when it comes to this situation, like it shows now the legality or the trust that is in between as individuals and those people we're trusting as maybe those people we are working with in terms of business. Yeah, because when it comes to mind that, okay, this is the thing that I want to buy, I've seen it, this is the developer that I want to invest with, and then when it comes now to that point, you come to find out that they don't fully own it because there's probably they used a loan to do it and then they have not cleared it. So it will be like after they've transferred ownership to you, now the burden will be unto you because the bank will come to that property, and that property, the ownership will have been transferred. So it's really sad in terms of maybe let us show some genuineness in terms of doing business here in the country.
Yes, Sultan.
Yes. When I looked at this headline, I reflected back onto the Big Four agenda, where housing or the provision of housing is one of the pillars of the Big Four agenda. So if the government wants to provide houses, yet there are others that are going to be homeless in a few months, then definitely that is going against the government policies. But if you look at this story, there are many more that are going to come. This is based on the interest rates that the banks are demanding from the investors. So there is need for the government to come in and cushion the investors in such a way that the interests that are being demanded by the banks don't push them out of business.
Yeah, true.
Yes.
Okay. Now let's move on to the Star, and this is a question I will toss on to you, Yasmin, because the headline on the Star says MPs want to get rid of 47 women reps.
Okay.
And they are saying that this is in line with the implementation of the Constitution.
Okay.
Your thoughts, please.
Is it because they are overcrowding the parliament building or what? Because I think these MPs are selfish first. They're all selfish. All these guys in parliament and senate, they're all selfish in some way.
The women included?
All of them. Okay, there are two sides to these stories. I have two sides of my emotions to these stories. First, I'll really take that I'll really want them to be removed. Again, I want them to stay. First, because these MPs, most of them, the women MPs, there is a way in the parliament, they are not much motivation. Okay, from most of the women reps I see, they're just wearing uniforms, you know, going to events. Like they don't go to the grassroots. Honestly, they'll tell you, I have launched sanitary pads. There's no way you can be launching sanitary pads every year. People are not, like, there is much more to helping a girl child, much more than sanitary towels. There are a lot of things these girls need. Again, these are the same women reps who want, I don't know what. When we are actually talking about the 2-third gender rule, they are not in the parliament. They can't pass that bill. Like, every time they come, no numbers. You can't actually expect the male MPs to help you with that. When you are just there and you're not helping. If that bill has taken all that long to be passed, what else do we need? They should be removed. Again, in a county like Garissa, it's the first time we actually got woman MP, like from her constituency. Never ever before. The only thing we actually imagined was just these other small seats, women rep. That's where we actually told, that's your place. If the seat will be removed, it will actually encourage women to go for bigger and better seats. That's like, you actually put that in the list of women rep, so that that's the most automatic. So me today, Yasmin, if I want to buy for something, will be told, we're in the endless mammy 2 women rep, and 2. So that's like the most basic, and it's become a place to loot a lot of funds. So you think that women should aim higher? They should aim higher. The women rep seat is just like it's actually in the county government. It's not really like, I think there's not so much recognized, and I hate the feeling other men have a feeling, like an opinion towards it, because the women rep seat, I don't know how I can say, I can just compare it to like to a family setup. It's the middle child in the family. You are useless, but in your absence, people will feel something. Okay, hold that thought. Sultan, yes. Are we seeing a political war between MPs? Because we've seen MPs before going for such a fight, and now we're seeing they've come for the women reps. What is happening in our parliament?
What we should look at is the genesis of the women rep into our constitution. How we came up with that clause. We came up with that because we felt that women are very few, or they are not represented adequately in our parliament. So if somebody thinks that the women reps should be done away with, then he should give us an alternative on how to increase the number of women in our parliament. Because there is need to have the number of women, if possible, half with the number of men. Because if you look at our population, women are more than men. The number of women are more than the number of men. So even if a woman can aim higher, yes, a woman is not denied the right to vie for presidency. He can vie for presidency. She can vie for presidency. She can vie for a member of parliament. She can vie for being a governor. She can vie for all the seats plus the women rep. But a man can vie for all the seats, but he cannot vie to be a women rep. Or can you vie to be a women rep?
Makori, we've seen the 2/3 gender bill fail before. So is this a positive? Are the MPs doing the right thing, or?
Well, thank you. First, in the stage we're in as a country, I will say we are losing a lot in terms of the wage bill. So I look into this in terms of reducing the wage bill, but not in terms of politics. Like, we should do away with the women reps. Let it be a general thing. Like, let us do away with certain seats in parliament that we see their importance, like they're not that vital as we expected them to be. So we can do away with these seats, do away with other few seats included, not that we will specify we're doing away with the 47 seats meant for the women reps. Because first, I see no, I'm sorry to say this, I see no importance of them being in parliament, yet there are so many things that they're being required to do to help their fellow women, but they are not doing it. I mean, how do we expect the 2/3 gender role to pass if they are not into parliament, as Yasmin said? Because they are they are failures of their own. They are not ready to bring themselves up or to bring other women up in the society. Because, yeah, the girl child has been empowered so far. And we are on with this story of empowering the girl child and forgetting the boy child does exist. That's why, as Sultana said, women can vie for all seats in the country except that one seat. Are they superior than us that they're being given an extra seat? Reason no. We are all equal. So why don't we have a certain number that is meaningful in our parliament? Have these people, like, the seats are all there. You just go and fight for them as members of the country, rather than giving a certain society a higher hierarchy than the rest.
Okay, Yasmin, you wish to counter that?
I don't think it's being higher than the other. In fact, the women rep seat since existence has been, I feel like it's been a figure of demeaning the female figures in the society, because it's no way we are not higher than you, but the way they just make it sound sometimes that, okay, you're just a women rep. So how is it? You're just supposed to come over during the public day celebrations. You just tell us whatever you did. And there's some women reps in some counties. I like them. Whatever they're doing, like most of the pastoralist communities, these things are like really important and needed. Okay, in developed counties and all that, these women, their voices are supposed to be heard at the national level. Some of these women, how many times have we seen when it's time to scream in parliament, they can scream. But when we are passing that bill, they are not there. Where are they?
So that brings to the question of their importance in parliament.
Yes.
So, like, I'll say we need not them. Like, we don't need them in the parliament.
Okay.
If need
Makori and Yasmin, let me stop you at that, because this is something that will definitely take a longer time than this. And let's move on to the People's Daily, which is sharing the same headline as Taifa Leo. Governors hit the streets of a funding crisis. And in Taifa Leo, it says, Wakenya wapuuza kilio cha magavana. We understand that the county bosses are saying devolution has been neglected, and they want the funding to move from 310 billion previously to now 335 billion. But what is it that they have to show for it, Makori?
Well, for the past, I guess for the past 5 years or so, and for the past 2 years that they've been, or a year they've been in power, they've been given allocations. There's some money that has been given unto them. But when you question what that money has done so far, when they are demanding an addition to the money that they've been receiving, then it shows that, like, seriously, there is no much that has been done. So here, they're just trying, or maybe, how will I put it? There's no need for the addition of the money. Let them come out clean, tell us what they've done for the past 5 years with the money they've been given, yet now they're demanding a higher sum of money, like to push up now the projects that they've been having that have stalled, or maybe because of lack of money. Because I believe they don't lack money at the moment, because there's no project that they have brought out publicly saying we started this, but it has stalled because we don't have enough money to complete it.
Okay, Sultan, do you think that it's honest of them to ask for this money?
I think so, because you see, what they are demanding is, they are not demanding it from just anywhere. What they are demanding is it's a constitutional demand by the governors. And as we speak now, some of the counties have not passed their budget because of that allocation that they need from the government. It is a constitutional right that they should be given that money.
But then look
and
at the...
if you talk about the accountability, that is something else, which we should also question the national government on the accountability of the funds that they are getting. And when I look at the tussle between the national government and the county government, I see it as one way of fighting devolution. And if you deny county government funding, then definitely you are denying them their rights of existence. Okay? And what I would like to say is that devolution is here to stay. We voted for it, and most Kenyans have tasted the sweetness of devolution, so we have to protect devolution by all means.
Jasmine, hold that thought.
Yes.
Very quick as we finish, 30 seconds. Are we doing the right thing by, if we are going to give them this cash, or it should just be held back?
I suppose governors are just the caretakers of the funds given to the counties. So far, what we've seen in counties like Turkana, what have they done with what they were given? When people are starving, well-wishers are the ones who are saving these people. Where were the governors?
So where were the governors? It is wrong for them to be given this money. Okay, we're going to take a quick short break, but then when we come back, we're going to in-depth stories with Makori, Sultan, and Jasmine. Don't go too far. This is Tech Tuesday.
Horizon TV, the beacon for the nation. On the next episode,
una mke mashallah mzuri kwa nyumba, lakini nje jicho halibanduki. 50 100, jicho kala gololi, kifua kama watermelon. Hii zote ni kwa nini? Hizi ni dhiki ambazo kwamba wajiweka ndani na wajiingiza katika dhambi. Tosheka na ambacho kwamba uko nacho. Allahu azza wa jalla amekuruzuku watoto wa kike. Tosheka na watoto wa kike ambao kwamba uko nao. Allah amekupa watoto wa kiume. Tosheka na watoto wa kiume ambao kwamba uko nao. Usiseme lakini Mwenyezi Mungu anipe wanaume watupu, Mwenyezi Mungu anipe wanawake watupu.
Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. We are now at the Arena 1. And over here we have player of the day.
I'm back to beat Hamza's team.
Is it time?
I chose Surah Al-Mutaffifin. I don't know the names, but Nabi Isa said, I am a slave of Allah. Is it Prophet Luqman? 1 point for this team. Welcome to Active Sunday.
Things which will happen at the last day, which is very shocking.
That's not fair because I wasn't here.
It's a happy, happy, happy day. Oh, what a happy day it is for Active Sunday. Abu Najma with kids.
We learn Quran. We learn Quran. We learn Quran. We learn Quran. We learn Hadith. We learn Hadith. We learn Hadith. We learn Hadith. We learn the duas. We learn the duas. We learn the duas. We learn the duas. We love a prophet. We love a prophet. We love a prophet. We love a prophet. Abu Najma with kids. Abu Najma with kids. We learn Quran. We learn Quran. We learn Quran. الحديد.
Horizon TV, the beacon for the nation. Horizon TV, the beacon for the nation.
Welcome back to the Sabah Show. Keep your comments coming in through the Facebook, Twitter and Instagram. The hashtag is still Sabah Show Live. Now, the in-depth stories. Let's begin with Daily Nation. And Facebook is facing 5 billion shilling fine for data misuse. Now, it says Facebook is facing 5 million fine in the US for granting user data to a company that reportedly helped the victory for President Uhuru Kenyatta in the 2017 general elections. Where is the integrity in the country?
Yeah, it's hard to say, it's hard to believe. But then, now as you asked, where is the integrity in the country as an organization that is running, maybe, like, it's not the first time Facebook is facing such allegations. The same thing happened to Huawei company, and the same thing has happening to Facebook. I guess this may be the third time, if I'm correct. Because now it brings the question that whenever we're doing business, or whenever we as an organization, are we ready to exercise all those morals that we're being required to exercise as an organization? There's much beyond what we're doing to help others, or there's much beyond what we're giving out as an organization.
Okay. So, Sultan?
When I look at this, I'm trying to look at all the social media organizations, be it Facebook, Twitter, WhatsApp, name it. There's need for these social media outlets to be regulated so that they don't just operate anyhowly. Because we have even seen cyberbullying all over. So if you just let them go the way they are going, then definitely our morals are going to be affected.
But then we see Facebook makes 5 billion a month, and then we're just fining them for something that is so big. I mean, is 5 billion really something that we should fine them, or should it be something relatively higher than that, Yasmin?
I think because social media, all social media sites, and by the day there are new things that are getting born and like getting into existence, and the evolution is so beautiful. I think because it has more benefits than the bad effects. So you'll see something like Facebook. There's a time Mark Zuckerberg was being grilled by the US Senate, and I loved that grilling because those guys were really hard on whatever, and they were saying privacy in the US is very difficult because of how the information is getting leaked. But in a continent like Africa, and in a mediocre country like Kenya, things just get everything's just distorted. So I bet he actually got a fortune from doing that. Funding them 5 billion, I think it's not too much. It's not too much. I think whatever is done to this country, so literally, Zuckerberg has taken part in destroying this country by electing such a president.
He voted for us.
Yeah.
On our behalf.
Yeah. So all the demonstrations on the streets and the opposition was nothing when the support was coming from a higher level. Yeah.
Okay, let us move on to another story on page 24 of the Daily Nation. And we're seeing that MPs are accusing Balala of pursuing self-interest in opposing 61-floor hotel. Now, this was a proposal by Balala. He wants to build a building, but then he's being accused of pursuing self-interest. So is this a self-interest issue, or do you think that Balala really has the interest of
building it?
Yes, at heart.
Well, knowing whether it's a self-interest thing or ascertaining it can be a problem. But then when people are coming up saying they're against this thing, then there is something that is in question. So I'd rather urge the MPs to maybe a task force be there, get a clear overview of what that is planned to take place by him Balala.
But Sultan, Waswahili wanasema lisemalo lipo na kama halipo laja.
Naam, I think there's need to go deeper into the allegations so that we need projects like this, but they need a clean bill of health. So just allegations, it needs to be investigated, and it needs to be proved beyond reasonable doubt. Then necessary steps can be taken.
Okay, Yasmin, your thoughts?
Balala being in such a position, he's been in government office for a long time, over a decade plus, and we have to look at the history. How transparent was he? How accountable was he? Now at this level, this is when we're starting to doubt this person. But if you look back to his history, through all the ministries, through all wherever he was when he was an MP, on all the projects, how relevant were they, and how accountable was he in whatever he was doing? So Kenyans are just like looking at one thing, direct, straightforward, when it's time. So you'll see, for now we'll just talk about this Balala story for some time, and then we'll forget it. By the time we go back to it and our eyes open, things are done. Yeah.
Okay, moving on to the Standard, page 6. Schools grown and underweight of hundreds of extra students. Now, this is still on the issue of congestion of schools. And then there's another story on the same, that 85 recently created national school failed test of quality. So, national schools are opened, students are moving in, but then these schools are lacking the quality tests. Where are we going wrong?
As I said earlier, the quality test comes in. Does the school have proper facilities that can accommodate the students? Like all the classrooms, dormitories, all that amenities that are being required in a school. But then, now, that's the problem we're having, that we're bringing out some things that we are not ready to handle, or that we don't have an answer when a crisis arises. And that's why the reason that you will find in a few years to come, there will be so many unemployed people. But then when a student goes to school, he or she is studying under a tree, and then finishes the 4 years, comes out, then there's no need for him or her to proceed to the next level. Because with that environment he or she was given to study in, cannot allow her to carry on with her studies or with his studies. So the case, we have so many unemployed people in the society, and then the problems.
Sultan?
Yes. Just on the same, you find that our teachers are not happy. In as much as the government would like to bring some reforms into the education sector, teachers are underpaid, and they are not looked after well by the government. So there's need for the government to look into the welfare of teachers so that they can be motivated to teach the children. If you give teachers peanuts, then definitely they'll give peanuts to the children, and the children are the ones we always say that viongozi wa kesho. So there's need for the government to look into the welfare of teachers.
Yes, ma'am.
More than the teachers, I feel like the investment in the student is very low, whatever we expect. When I was in high school, I was a student leader, and sometimes I was staying in town, and the kids who are coming from the Mashinani areas, I realized that in northern region people are pastoralists, and they move towards the water sources for the animals. So most of the time, this member of parliament and these guys, someone is given a project, they will do they will construct classes, schools, a few. You will see in a span of 5 kilometers there's another school. So why are we are overdoing these things? So we are putting, and then when you move another 15 to 50 kilometers, there's a school where the kids are over congested. You'll see class 3 wanasoma na huko, class 2 wanasoma na huko. So they are not really regulating and planning these things properly. Yeah. So apart from that, I feel like education in Kenya has just become just a by the way thing in the system. Like I said, yeah, education is just more than ribbon cutting and board meetings, and children are so overloaded with the other day they were talking about giving a grade, giving a national examination to a class 3 student. When I was in class 3, you give me a national examination and I fail, my parents and everyone will assume I was just stupid all my life. If you give a class 3 child a national exam, class 3, I don't even know when I was 9 years old how much smart I was, because that's when you are going to school for the sake. As a boy, you are just dressed up, go to school, come back.
So Sultan, what is the way forward?
I think the way forward is there's need for a national dialogue whereby all stakeholders in the education sector sit down, they talk, and then they come up with possible solutions.
Okay, moving on to the business daily, and Uber, Bolt riders pay double rates as digital taxi drivers strike. Now, the taxi drivers, or online taxi drivers, or rather digital taxi drivers, went on a strike yesterday, and the people who normally use them were forced to pay double charges. And we have seen a proposal to increase the parking fee to 400 shillings. So where is the problem in this?
Well, the problem in this country, we have so many sources of revenue, but then are we managing them? Like here, we're increasing the parking fees to 400 shillings. Here, as we're increasing the parking fees, we're oppressing the already oppressed drivers. Remember, these drivers are working under a management that you'll have to get to a certain number of customers, or you'll have to get to a certain amount of money in order to be paid. Like, I'm meant to believe that they're paying under commission, something like that. But now, when they're being oppressed that way, that's why they are being forced to get to double charges. And I heard that they're planning now, like, as you ordering, like, as you calling for that cab, you pay immediately before the cab arrives. So that it will be a problem, because at the moment you might be overcharged, you don't know the distance, how long it will take to get to your destination. But then now they are being forced to get onto those means, of which most of them they are not good, because of the system that we are in. We're trying to get so many, like a lot of money, but then are we trying to get it into good use?
Okay, Sultan.
Our transport system in the country is in shambles. If you look at the Uber and the rest, Taxify and whoever, you are speaking to a certain standard of people, a class of people. But you go down to the matatu sector, you find that there are cartels, there are this and that and so on. They are paying double now. Those who use matatus have been paying doubles always. Okay? So there's need for the government to come up with a clear policy on the transport system in the country. You look at the system in Dar es Salaam, okay? They have what they call Mwendo Kasi in Dar es Salaam. It's working very well, yeah? And it is very cheap compared to our systems here. We can't have Mwendo Kasi in Nairobi because there are cartels operating the transport system in Nairobi. So they cannot allow Mwendokasi to come into Nairobi because of that. Though I hear that the government is going to bring something of that sort. But still, there's need for us to overhaul the whole transport system in the country.
Okay, let's move on to the People's Daily, page 2. There's a story on Magoha who is saying, ignore the prophets of doom on CBC progress. The minister is assuring teachers that the curriculum will work as Nat insists it won't work without key players on board. Yasmin, who do we believe? Do we go with Magoha or do we go with what Nat is saying?
I feel like the teachers know more about education than someone who was not in the field before. Magoha was in the health sector, and it is not really like sensible when you can't actually come into a system and tell the teachers that this is right when they're already in the system and they know where they went wrong, what they want to be done, like what the changes they want and the progress they want from there. Magoha has been doing medical things, and when you are in a theater or surgery or doing that, you just operate on that body and finish. That is not what should be happening with the teachers. I think it's been long since we've ignored these people. Teachers have given us their best, but what have we given them?
Okay, Makori.
Yeah.
Is not, as Magoha is saying, prophets of doom?
No, I don't think. Yeah, Nat have been in the system for so long. Magoha just came in 2 years. He's not the owner of the curriculum. He just found something that was about to be brought into the system. Ambassador Mohammed tried to bring it in, but she said, like, the government is not ready to do it at the moment. So the question here comes, how ready are they this time round to do it? Because it's just a span of few months, because it was to be implemented as from last year, but then they said they're not ready. For the past few months that have passed, what shows that they are ready? So Professor Magoha should just sit down with the teachers, find the proper way that can be brought out, because these are national thing that is there to stay. And then when you're trying to bring something out in a hurry, and then something that is going to affect our children, something that is going to affect us as members of the country, is not okay. So let him sit with the teachers, let him hear what the teachers are saying about that, and let him get what the teachers are going to tell him, because I believe the teachers have a proper say in this.
Okay, Sultan, one story as we wind up. In Taifa Leo, page 2. Koti yatoa afueni kwa watoto wa nje. What it's saying is, mahakama kuu imeamua kwamba watoto ambao kuna tashwishi katika familia kuhusu mababa zao halisi hawatahitajika kupimwa DNA kabla ya kukubaliwa mirathi mali za wanaume waliowalea. Is this a step towards the right direction?
Mimi ninavyofikiria ni kwamba mtoto hawezi kurithi mahali ambapo au kutoka kwa mtu ambaye si baba yake. Hairuhusiwi. Na kama mtoto amezaliwa nje ya ndoa, ambayo pia hairuhusiwi kisheria, ni kwamba huyo mtoto atarithi tu kutoka kwa mama yake na sio kwa baba. Naam.
Okay. Yasmin, as we finish.
I think in this setup, the child is actually very innocent in the whole thing, and adults should just go back to each other and really, and this is like mostly the stories I heard about this, this high end, most of the famous politicians, these are the kind of people you'll actually hear about when they die, that they had a child outside. We common wananchis and poor people don't know those things. We don't know. We utilize the much we have. So adults should really categorize in which way they want their children to grow.
Okay. Okay, so that is all the time we had for the newspaper review. Gentlemen and the lady, of course, thank you very much for coming. Don't go too far though, because when we come back, we start discussing matters technology. Remember, the hashtag is Sabah Show Live with me, your host Yusuf Farah. Stay tuned.
Horizon TV, the beacon for the nation. On the next episode,
watu wasema Ayatul Kursi ukisoma kwa makini ni dalili ya kutosha kwamba hii Qur'ani ni kitabu cha Mwenyezi Mungu. Vile Mwenyezi Mungu huyu anaaminiwa na Waislamu amejisifu kwa sifa gani? Kama kwamba aonyesha kwamba maadamu Mwenyezi Mungu sifa zake ni hizi, lazima kila mtu amwamini Mwenyezi Mungu huyu. Sasa atakakueleza watu pamoja na hayo kwamba Mwenyezi Mungu anastahili kuaminiwa na watu wa Waislamu wote, lakini lao mtu hakuwa Muislamu hafai kulazimishwa kwa Muislamu kwa nguvu. Mwenyezi Mungu asema la ikraha fi din, hakuna kulazimishwa mtu yoyote kuingia katika dini ya Uislamu.
Qur'ani mwombezi wangu, Qur'ani pumbao langu, ni kitabu chenye haki huipati.
Walk with us as we tell you the stories of our society.
Wengine atavaa mtandio kichwani utafikiri ni kijihandkerchief.
Enzi za wakati wa kusema ati alisema akasisitiza akihutubia wanahabari, enzi hizo hazipo tena.
Kuchimbua na kunakili matukio kwa undani.
We want to create current awareness,
ranging from adventure, human interest and inspirational stories,
ili kuweza kukuelimisha, kukuburudisha na kukubumbuisha.
Words have been said, but now it is time to lay the foundation that will impact the world.
Terrorism is terrorism, no matter who is behind the trigger.
This is the street quiz. We are back. What's your name, bro?
Mustafa Awad.
So I'm looking for country number 023.
Nairobi.
Turkana. Nanti.
I don't know.
Ihsan inamaanisha ni mazuri.
Right now I don't remember.
Pana Nairobi ni 047. Ukitaka kujua ni gani? Tazama street quiz ndani ya Horizon TV. Bro, here is your t-shirt inshallah. Horizon branded t-shirt from Horizon TV.
Horizon TV, the beacon for the nation. You're watching Horizon TV, the beacon for the nation. You're watching Horizon TV, the beacon for the nation.
Wacha niongezee kireti tingine ya shilingi 10 nikupigie sahi.
Ongeza ya ambao.
Mugaka gaki. Yaani unanipenda mpaka umeamua kuniongezea shilingi 10 ingine tu.
Hapana, siwezi kuongezea mapenzi ya 10. Hata nikutunukie katoto kingine.
Tunuki kwa sasa iko na ofa mpya ya Credo Double. Piga *444 *0#. Ukichagua ofa ya shilingi 10 utapata Credo ya 20. Ofa ya 20 utapata Credo ya 40. Ofa ya 50 utapata Credo ya 100. Kwa network yoyote. Kumbuka ni *4 *0#.
You're watching Horizon TV, the beacon for the nation. Horizon TV, the beacon for the nation.
Karibisha katika kipindi chako cha kila wiki.
Neno hili fiqh ni ufahamu,
yani kufahamu kitu.
La jirani ni lipi, la mkubwa ni lipi, la mtoto ni lipi, la usiku ni lipi, la mchana ni lipi. Hiyo ndio yaitwa fiqhi.
Dini hii ya Uislamu kila kitu, hatutafuti popote.
Kunwa maji atakavyo Mungu.
Kwa nini Mwenyezi Mungu ameharamisha nguruwe? Kwa nini Mwenyezi Mungu, mbona hujauliza Mwenyezi Mungu kwa nini amehalalisha mbuzi? Mwenye kula nguruwe ni mtu kuwa hana wivu.
Uislamu umekuja umekamilika.
Hata wadudu watafuta amani, hawataki kuudhiwa na wao pia. Wala Uislamu haukuja kuwaudhi hata wadudu, ni makosa.
On the next episode,
watu wasema Ayatul Kursi ukisoma kwa makini ni dalili ya kutosha kwamba hii Qur'ani ni kitabu cha Mwenyezi Mungu. Vile Mwenyezi Mungu huyu anayeaminiwa na Waislamu amejisifu kwa sifa gani? Kama kwamba aonyesha kwamba maadamu Mwenyezi Mungu sifa zake ni hizi, lazima kila mtu amwamini Mwenyezi Mungu huyu. Sasa atakakueleza watu pamoja na hayo kwamba Mwenyezi Mungu anastahili kuaminiwa na watu wa Waislamu wote, lakini lao mtu hakuwa Muislamu hafai kulazimishwa kwa Muislamu kwa nguvu. Mwenyezi Mungu asema la ikraha fi din, hakuna kulazimishwa mtu yoyote kuingia katika dini ya Uislamu.
Qur'ani mwombezi wangu, Qur'ani pumbao langu, ni kitabu chenye haki huipati.
Walk with us as we tell you the stories of our society.
Wengine atavaa mtandio kichwani, utafikiri ni kijihandkerchief.
Enzi za wakati wa kusema ati alisema, akasisitiza, akihutubia wanahabari, enzi hizo hazipo tena.
Kwa kuchimbua na kunakili matukio kwa undani.
We want to create current awareness,
ranging from adventure, human interest and inspirational stories,
ili kuweza kukuelimisha, kukuburudisha na kukubumbuisha.
Words have been said, but now it is time to lay the foundation that will impact the world.
Terrorism is terrorism, no matter who is behind the trigger.
Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. We are now at the Arena 1. And over here we have player of the day.
I'm back to beat Hamza's team.
Is it time?
I chose Surah Al-Mutaffifin. I don't know the names, but Nabi Isa said, I am a slave of Allah. Is it Prophet Luqman?
1 point for this team.
Welcome to Active Sunday.
Things which will happen at the last day, which is very shocking.
Wailun lil mutaffifin.
That's not fair because I wasn't here.
It's a happy, happy, happy day. Oh, what a happy day it is for Active Sunday.
La kutafakari.
Jumba zataka mahaba ya ikhwa, zataka attention. Nana amekuja kusemesha, punguza TV, mwambie kipenzi changu, tunda la macho yangu, kitulizo cha moyo wangu, wasemaje Nana? Angalia maneno atakavyokuwa. Yule mtoto wa kike wallahi atatabasamu kama ni maji, huenda mikono ikamtetema mpaka kayamwaga. Ama kuulize mume wangu leo mzima, aone labda ni wahusia malaka al-maut ushamuona, manake hajawahi kusikia maneno yale ukimwambia, ila zile siku kimtongoza mitaani kabla hujamuoa, tangu mtie nyumbani wewe, kwa kuwa ana friji na TV na chakula, wewe ujishika kiuno, kama simpendi ningemfanishia nyumba, kama simpendi ningemlisha kuku mimi kila Jumapili. Wewe unajitona namna ile, kweli wrong? Kama simpi attention mimi
La kutafakari. Quote of the day. Imam Muhammad bin Idris al-Shafi'i said, "To admonish your brother in private is to advise him and improve him, but to admonish him publicly is to disgrace him and shame him." Horizon TV, the beacon for the nation.
Quote of the day. Uthman bin Affan radiyallahu anhu said, "He who makes the book of Allah as his guide would remain safe from sin, and he would be counted among the best of men."
La kutafakari.
Kuna watu wako nyumbani lakini ni dhiki. Ukisafiri watoto wako wanafurahi na mkeo. Wallahi, kuna wazee ama waume wakiwa ndani ya majumba yao ni msiba. Watoto hawatamani Jumapili ifike maana baba atakuwa ndani ya nyumba. Kwa sababu mzee akiwa ndani ya nyumba ni dhiki na tabu tu. Mkumbuka zamani baba zetu akiambia dadi chololo. Nani siku hizi ambaye dadi chololo? Ukija. Mimi nakumbuka shaimba dadi chololo. Jebu tuliulizeni watoto wetu walituona lini wakatuimbia dadi chololo? Ilikuwaje mpaka leo watoto hawaoni raha tukiwepo? Maana ukiingia nyumbani wewe TV yako, remote yako, una kochi sijui, kila kitu wewe chako. Hao wengine wote nkamba wapangaji ndani ile nyumba yako. Kwa kuwa ati walipa kodi na walisha watu. Kweli, nyama zote pia nzako, subhanallah. Watoto hula mifupa. Ngojeni baba yenu ale kwanza. Yake kula na wanao. Tie huyu lishe yule. Watoto watajuaje kula vizuri? Kama we huli nao, ajue afa kula wali asiguse hapa. Ndio maana watoto wetu wana desturi. Kwa sababu mababa hawapo.
La kutafakari.
On the next episode,
mtu akiwa na mnyama, mfano yuko na ngamia, patia haki yake. Yule ngamia mashallah anakupatia services, anakufanyia khidma, na wewe kwa nini usimfanyie khidma? Yule ngamia anakufaa, anakufanyia kazi, unampanda, unasafiri naye, unapakia mizigo, anakusaidia na kadhalika. Basi wewe pia mpatie haki yake. Sio kwa humpatii hata chakula mpaka ngamia amekonda. Anazungumzia kwa majazi kwa mpaka mgongo karibu ushikane na tumbo, yani amekonda, amedhoofika kabisa. Mtume sallallahu alaihi wasallam akamwambia, mcheni Mwenyezi Mungu katika hawa wanyama. Kalamu imeinuliwa kwa watu sampuli tatu, yani hawaandikiwi madhambi. Wa kwanza, mtoto mdogo mpaka atakapo balighi. Mtu amelala akaota, akazungumza, akapiga makelele, akabobokwa, haandikiwi madhambi. Na mtu ambaye ni mwandazimu mpaka akili yake itakaporudi. Yoyote miongoni mwenu ambaye atakuwa ni mgonjwa au ala safarin, au atakuwa katika safari, fa'iddatu min ayamin ukhar, anaruhusiwa kula kisha atalipa baadaye. Muhimu zile ambazo wadaiwa uziweke hisabu, na kila ukilipa uondoshe mpaka atakapomaliza.
Nachukua fursa hii kukaribisha katika kipindi chako cha kila wiki.
Neno hili fiqh ni ufahamu, yani kufahamu kitu.
La jirani nlipi, la mkubwa nlipi, la mtoto nlipi, la usiku nlipi, la mchana nlipi. Hiyo ndio yaitwa fiqh.
Dini hii ya Uislamu kila kitu, hatutafuti popote.
Unwa maji atakavyo Mungu.
Kwa nini Mwenyezi Mungu ameharamisha nguruwe? Kwa nini Mwenyezi Mungu, mbona hujauliza Mwenyezi Mungu kwa nini amehalalisha mbuzi? Mwenye kula nguruwe ni mtu kwa hana wivu.
Uislamu umekuja umekamilika.
Hata wadudu watafuta amani, hawataki kuudhiwa na wao pia. Wala Uislamu haukuja kuwaudhi hata wadudu, ni makosa.
Horizon TV, the beacon for the nation. Horizon TV, the beacon for the nation.
It is time to delve into matters technology. Let's get right into it. Gentlemen, good morning. Ula, good morning. In studio today, I have Abdinur, a telecom engineer, Frederick, who is an IT engineer. Welcome to the show. And Ula, cybersecurity engineer. Brilliant minds, I'm telling you. Now, let's start with you, Frederick. Can you briefly explain to our viewers at home who a telecommunication engineer is?
So I'd say a telecommunications engineer is someone who is responsible for the design, installation, the maintenance, and also the support bit of a telecommunications network. That may vary from mobile telephony to other wireless systems, such as Wi-Fi, a TV station such as this, a radio station. We have the fiber optic networks, and telecommunication engineer may do even more than that, including stuff overlapping with IT, like development of software. Yeah, the scope is really wide, I'd say.
Okay.
Yeah.
Ula, would you like to add on to that?
Basically, he's covered much of what we do as telecommunications engineers. And what I'd like to say is that when it comes to telecommunications, it has various fields. For example, the people who deal with fiber optics, like implementing deploying the fiber optics. The people who deal with radio waves, what commonly people call as dish. Those people that you see around, they call them dish. The people who deal with microwaves. And ideally, all that encompasses telecommunication engineering. Anything that enhances communication, even the development of mobile technology, is part of telecommunication engineering.
Okay, now over the years, telecommunication has evolved, and we've moved from 1G to currently 5G. Do you mind walking us through the whole scope of it, like for someone who is at home and possibly doesn't understand this, how it came about from 1G all the way to 5G? Yes.
So the beauty about communication is that over the years, we were even communicating before we knew we were communicating. Let's talk about the ancient times when people used to communicate through smokes. We went to drums. We went to landline telephones. You remember those phones that you used to scroll, Then we went to the big phones that had very big antennas. From there, we moved to the tiny phones that, had the Nokia tiny phones. Then now we have the Android phones. And all these cannot happen without the support of technology that runs the communication. So that's where the 1G to 5G technology comes in. Because as we move from 1G to 5G, we also, the gadgets also move hand in hand to support this kind of technology. So we actually started with the 1G technology, where all that was supported was just voice. Like you could just make a phone call. There was no SMSs. There was nothing. And that ideally is when we had the landlines and the telephones. Then now we moved to 2G. Now we could support a bit of SMS and emails, and also now voice calls. But now when it comes to the communication, it was a bit slow and it took a lot of time with a lot of interference. We moved now to 3G, where we have like dual for most of the time, where we have seen a lot of growth in terms of applications, emails. We have seen there has been a very the growth of means or connectivity has increased. Why? Because with 3G, it supports faster internet speeds. It supports faster communication. It is the technology itself has given a way to enhance these forms of communication. Now we have moved to 4G, where basically it is we have moved from using the microwaves form of communication, where we don't rely on the dishes, but now we have moved to where the communication is now transmitted through the fiber optics. And what this has done, it has made communication even faster and reliable, and in the sense that voice and data can be transmitted through the same medium. That is now where we're in 4G, and we're now moving to 5G, where it will be even faster, with faster speeds, faster internet speeds, faster communication. And I think it's important to mention that when it comes to 5G technology, what we ideally call self-driving cars, Internet of Things, like cloud computing, it will be at a higher scale more than the way it is right now at 4G. So as the technologies advance, also everything else also advances in terms of connectivity and growth, even in terms of the technology world.
Okay. Yeah. Abdinur, possibly your input in this?
Okay, in terms of the movement from, I have an issue with from 3G to 4G.
Okay.
Basically, we moved to 4G fast enough before we utilized and maximized the opportunities that came with 3G. Like when the fiber came and we started using 3G, the communication expanded in terms of capacity and quality and speed and everything. So I expected the cost of communication to go down, and the cost of voice calls and the data to go down. But I'm surprised we still have 4G even before we utilized the 3G.
So in your opinion, we didn't use 3G enough?
Enough. So we're supposed to use, you're supposed to stream your high-D TVs, mobile TVs, gaming and cloud computing, IP telephony. So the only thing I think to me we used enough for 3G is the voice and data, which are still very expensive to me. Because we have a lot of, the network, the fiber optic network is very large in the country. Mostly every urban center has a fiber connectivity. So I expected the prices for the data and the voice to go down, but still quite high.
But then
we are in 4G.
Do you not think that moving towards 4G and 5G is better? I mean, as much as we haven't utilized it, but 4G is far much better than 3G.
Yes, of course. It's far much better, but you also have to check the cost implications. When you move to the next technology, you advance, we have to change our gadgets from 3G and then 4G, and then you need to lower the cost. Yeah. Because now you have a very good fiber optic coverage. So I believe when you go to the next level, the prices should also go down.
Abdinur said something about voice calls, and I believe, Frederick, you have an input in that. For the people at home, can you briefly explain to people how a typical phone call is made? Because when we sit at home, what we do is just take a phone and make a call. We don't know what is involved in it, so please.
Yeah, so I'll go a bit technical.
Yes, please. But also do something a bit. Yes.
Okay. So you have your gadget.
Yes.
In technical terms, it might be called a mobile station or user equipment. Okay. So in telecoms, a geographical area is divided into cells. Each cell contains a mast. The tall structures you see as you walk in town or along the road, that contains numerous equipment, like some dish structures surrounding it and stuff.
Which many of us at home who are not used to telecom call aerials.
Exactly.
Or big aerials.
Yeah, big aerials. Yeah, so lugha ya mtaani, they'd call it a booster, that tall thing. So that is responsible for a cell. So right now, let me use the example of your phone. It belongs to a cell, maybe a mast somewhere near the mosque. So when you place a call, the first thing that happens is that some of the equipment inside that mast area is used to authenticate whether, one, your SIM card is registered, whether it is genuine, and also whether your phone is also registered. That's why you've been hearing that SIM registration and also device registration when you buy it is very important. It is used for such things. So once you authenticated, let's say you're calling someone in along Mombasa Road. That's a different cell, of course. So there's a mast over there. So what happens is that your request, the call request, is forwarded from your local cell to that other local cell. And then now from there, that cell, the equipment there has to authenticate with the person you're calling, whether the mobile equipment and the SIM card is registered before even the call is connected. So it goes that way, authentication, then comes back, so that now your call may pass through. So in the process of a request going to the recipient of the call, it involves also now the phone of that person ringing, so that it may alert him or her that there's an incoming call. So I think that's in general how a phone call is made. The rest are details. Also, since cellular networks are built, it is important that the person who is calling, or recently we have the reverse calls, so if you put a hash before the number and so on, the person who is supposed to be billed, the account details have to be checked, whether there's account balance, so that the call can be connected. Otherwise, is when you'll hear you have insufficient balance and so on.
But then again, I mean, you've explained this process very lengthy, and usually when I make a call, it just goes T and someone picks it up. How does it happen in such lightning speed?
Good question. Telecoms is fast because the nature of the communication, we have the first interface is a radio interface. Then the second interface might be a radio or a fiber interface, as my friend Abdi here said. So the fiber runs from one cell to another, let me call it the mast, from one mast to another through a series of connections. So the light, the speed is at the speed of light. In science, it's 2.99 times 10 to the power 8 meters per second. That's very high speed. So you'll find that the time taken for you to make the call, and actually for the signal to move from you, let's say when you make a call, it will take milliseconds before the person in Mombasa Road gets a ringing tone that someone, Yusuf, is calling him or her.
Let me ask a question for the sake of my producer. Is it possible that when I'm making a call for someone who's at Mombasa Road, that it will take a shorter time than for someone who's in Mombasa?
Yes, I believe so, because of the distance the signal will take from this local area to Mombasa in terms of alerting the connection coming in. Mombasa Road is closer, so the cell at Mombasa Road is closer to this cell compared to the cell at Mombasa. But rarely will you notice the time difference. Same thing with even international calls. The latency has been reduced so much that calling is seamless. And now with the introduction of IP calling, like WhatsApp calls and stuff, it's even less communication signaling time.
Okay. Ula, describe the services offered currently in mobile telephony and what the next generation 5G systems will introduce.
When as my colleagues have already talked about the faster speeds that come with advancement in technology, 5G is actually it's a very promising field for technical people and also for everyone at large, because ideally we are moving to a world where most of our things are very technical and we tend to do most of our stuff based on internet. So you can imagine you are having a business meeting over video conferencing, for instance. You'd want it to appear as real as possible, and that can only be possible if the speeds are faster. So we have talked about 5G having very fast speeds. So you can imagine everything that we're doing right now with the 4G internet and the 3G internet being even 20 times better in terms of the speeds that the 5G offers are like 20 Gbps per second. Then when you just click like this, it takes it is even unnoticeable, you know. So ideally what we are saying is that with 5G technology, whatever we are doing right now, it will be faster, seamless, and better, in the sense that we'll have self-driving cars that you won't even notice that it is driving itself, you know, because of just how fast it is. We will have better applications that serve people better. We will have computer clouding, where now we will move from storing information to localized servers to storing them somewhere remotely. We will have, just as my colleague has talked about, the IP phone calls, for example, the WhatsApp calls, and the normal telephones moving to the voice to IP. It will be even faster and more reliable due to less interference, since now our communication is moving to less of hardware, you know, like the radio waves and stuff, to more of fiber optics, because now it is 5G technology supports all this. So actually 5G technology is as much as it is very expensive, since as we had mentioned earlier, we'll be using like the millimeter waves, which are very high frequency waves with a very short range. So meaning you'll have to have a lot of what we call the antennas very close by, which is expensive. Other than it being expensive to implement, it is actually something very good and promising. But I will agree with Abdi, what he said, that we are really rushing to implementing higher technology. Yet I am so sure you can move to rural areas where you'd find people, even there is no even network, you say. So I think it will be good and better if we concentrate on maximizing what you already have and ensuring that what we have is that it's optimum, rather than just running to have better and better and leaving out some areas of our country at a loss.
Okay.
Yeah.
With what Abdinur you said, I'd like to pose this question to you. Do you feel like we've already utilized 4G enough, or we should keep using it a little bit more, because we haven't stabilized it yet as a country and we're already trying to move on to 5G, as Ula has said, and it is expensive. So are we moving towards the right direction, heading to 5G, or we should just stick to 4G at the moment?
I think for now we should maximize the 3G first. 3G first.
Again.
Because there are so many areas, so many opportunities that came with 3G that we are not aware of. So like IP telephone, how many people are using IP telephone nowadays? It's only a few offices. So I'm supposed to call you through the IP network when I don't have a credit, but still it's very expensive.
Okay.
And also it is not many people are aware of that what 3G can do. So I will say let's just utilize 3G. When everyone now enjoys 3G, we go to 4G and 5G.
Okay, for someone at home, can you briefly explain what an IP telephone is?
IP telephony is basically you electronically want to communicate with the other person using the network.
Okay, and comparing our network currently in Kenya and the network in the Western countries that have already developed, are we better off or they're much better than us?
Okay, I think it's a bit, I don't know if I can say unfair or that is just the way it is. Western countries, when it comes to the technology, they are very advanced. You know, you'd find that when we are trying to accommodate a particular technology, in their country it's redundant. They have moved to something else. So right now we have most countries like Germany, China, and USA. They have implemented the 5G technology, while here in the country we're still struggling with the 4G technology. But I really don't think it's a competition per se. It's about like what does your country need. You know, I can even give you that 5G technology, but you don't know how to use it. You see, so for me it's more of how is that technology that you already have benefiting you, or how well are you using it, you know? Because you'd find also when it comes to when it comes to telecommunications, it's most of the time we look at, as my colleagues had already said, we focus on designing, implementing, and maintaining. So when you are designing, we design in terms of capacity. You know, when I put up these devices here, is it going to serve this number of people here at this place? You see, it is also in terms of and money, in terms of finances also, when it comes to designing. So when you move to higher technologies, it means you can serve a higher capacity. But you will ask yourself, like, is it worth the expense of going that long way, designing, spending a lot of money, implementing technologies that support a larger number of people, and these people don't actually use that technology, you see?
Okay,
so
thank you very much, Ola. Very informative insights from the tech experts here on Tech Tuesday. We're going to go for a quick break, but don't go too far. When we come back, the pros and cons of telecommunications. Stay tuned.
Walk with us as we tell you the stories of our society.
Wengine atavaa mtandio kichwani, utafikiri ni kijihandkerchief.
Enzi za wakati wa kusema ati alisema, akasisitiza, akihutubia wanahabari, enzi hizo hazipo tena.
Kwa kuchimbua na kunakili matukio kwa undani.
We want to create current awareness,
ranging from adventure, human interest and inspirational stories,
ili kuweza kukuelimisha, kukuburudisha na kukubumbuisha.
Words have been said, but now it is time to lay the foundation that will impact the world.
Terrorism is terrorism, no matter who is behind the trigger.
Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. We are now at the Arena 1.
Luigi, just stand down.
And over here we have player of the day.
I'm back to beat Hamza's team.
Is it time?
I chose Surat al-Mutaffifin. I don't know the names, but Nabi Isa said, I am a slave of Allah. Is it Prophet Luqman?
1 point for this team.
Welcome to Active Sunday.
Things which will happen at the last day, which is very shocking.
Waylun lil mutaffifin.
That's not fair because I wasn't here.
It's a happy, happy, happy day. Oh, what a happy day it is for Active Sunday. Abu Najma with kids. We learn Quran, we learn Quran, we learn Quran, we learn Quran. hadith. We learn hadith. We learn hadith. We learn hadith. We learn the doers. We learn the doers. We learn the doers. We learn the doers. We love a prophet. We love a prophet. We love a prophet. We love a prophet. Abu Najma with kids. Abu Najma with kids. We learn Quran. We learn Quran. We learn Quran. We learn Quran. We learn Hadith.
Quote of the day. Imam Muhammad bin Idris al-Shafi'i said, "To admonish your brother in private is to advise him and improve him, but to admonish him publicly is to disgrace him and shame him."
Horizon TV, the beacon for the nation.
The Sabah Show Tech Tuesday with me, your host Yusuf Farah. Before the break, we were discussing about telecommunications, and on the studio with me is Ola, Frederick, and Abdinur. Very brilliant minds. I mean, they have very awesome technological terms that have left me wanting to research more and more so that I can learn. So going directly to you, Ola, there's a concern that 5G being introduced might interfere with the weather forecast. Is this a valid concern?
I think it's not valid till it's proved valid, because people will always have various, I can say, misconceptions and concerns that till actually proven that they are harmful, that's when we'll actually say that actually it will affect their forecast. You see, what happens with 5G, we are going to be using like microwaves mostly, because like they are called extremely high frequencies. So people have a lot of concerns. Some people have said they'll cause cancer. Some people have said, just as you've said, weather forecast, it will affect the weather forecast. But right now, as the 5G is in the test, most of the 5G technology is in the testing stage. We cannot yet you cannot yet completely say that it will affect the weather forecast. I don't know what my
Frederick.
Yeah, especially on health. Let me speak on the health bit. How 5G works is by having many antennae close together, because they use extremely high frequencies. The distances for the waves to travel are small, so that will lead to let's say so much radiation within a locality because of the many antennas around. So that had raised eyebrows by, let's say, the health practitioners and doctors, saying that that amount of radiation might be unsafe for human beings and also other living organisms like plants and animals. So still a concern, as Ula has said, not yet proven, but we hope not, because it's something that will benefit us more than it will harm us.
With the concern in mind, Abdinur, do you think we should advance to the next stage, like move on to 5G, or hold on to 4G, or as you said, 3G, because we haven't utilized it completely until we can prove that these things are not going to affect us health-wise?
Okay, the concerns they have is that the weather forecast people cannot predict some serious storms. But still, it's, I think it's not something that has been proven, so we have to wait. So for 5G, first of all, 5G is amazing. I'm told you can download a movie with 3 seconds. So it's like around 35 Gbps. We moved from Mbps to Gbps. That's gigabit per second. So basically, it's an amazing thing, but if we utilize it very well, and we utilize 3G and 4G, because we have a lot of opportunities with the 3G and 4G.
So we should utilize what we have until the concerns are dealt with.
Because most of us, we know about the voice and data, but there are other benefits that come with the 3G and 4G that most of the people are not have been aware.
Okay. So with telecommunication growing each day, people say streaming movies in 3 seconds, moving on to Gbps. Of course, it's a good thing, but with every good thing, there's a flip side to it, though. So, give or take, does it do more harm than good, in your opinion?
In my opinion, it does actually more good than harm. Since imagine at this day and age, you didn't have a way to communicate with people at a long distance. Just imagine we had stuck to smokes and drums, and and the way there are a lot of misinterpretations. When a white smoke is there, you don't know what it means. When a black smoke is there, there was a lot of misinterpretation. So I think the advancement in technology, it has way more good than harm, as it has revolutionized everything. Look at how medicine has advanced, transportation. It is just due to technology. So I think us moving forward has opened up a lot of doors in terms even of jobs, in terms of careers advancement, in terms of opportunities for people like small business enterprises, and this is due to the advancement in communication and the advancement in technology. So in my opinion, it is more good than harm.
And Frederick, what can we do for the sake of the harm side of it? Say people using 5G to do wrong things, say children accessing things that they shouldn't thanks to 5G. Is there a way that we can combat this?
To a greater extent, we can, but it really depends on the people handling the technology. There already exist measures to curb, let's say, if you want children to watch certain things, there is parental control already. So it really depends on who is using what. But according to me, the bad is also quite something. We have many effects that come with technology being introduced. Our bodies were created to do hard work. That's why you find lifestyle diseases becoming more prevalent right now. You don't need to do hard work anymore. You can just work from home the whole day in front of a screen. In a sense, that does not do good. But anyway, we are here to live, and we'll just live.
Okay, and a quick question to Abdinur. How safe is our data now that we've moved to 5G, going to do better? And we've seen cases of data being leaked. We've seen now Facebook going to court for, this is the 3rd time, I think now. Is the advancement in technology, in a way, making it easier to access personal data, or where are we going wrong?
Okay, with the advancement technology, we are experiencing a lot of cyber threat, and from our own background, the Huduma number. So one time there was allegation that someone has hacked it. So with the advancement of technology, a lot of people are using it for the wrong reasons, and it's by this data security is a new thing, because our data is no longer safe, because people can use it and manipulate it, and and use it for the wrong reasons. So I can say, without policies and regulations, and and getting the right people to guard our data is not safe.
So these policies that you're saying, Who is supposed to enforce them?
The enforcement authority is the government bodies, obviously, and also there are private companies that do data security and internet security, basically. So with the advancement of the internet, I think someone can easily access, if you are not smart enough and you don't protect your data and your product, and someone can easily destroy you.
Okay. Yeah. What about the internet and fiber technology? Is it safe?
For the internet, currently, for the fiber, currently we rolled out a technology called GPO networks, fiber to the home, FTTH, whereby the fiber cable is installed in your living room, so that you can connect to your TV. So it can play something called triple play. You can use data, you can use voice, and you can also use a smart TV. So all this calls for new security alarms.
Okay.
You know, when you are connected to the internet, you are connected to a lot of things.
So as we wind up, Ula, would you advise someone to take a telecommunication engineering career?
Contrary to what I used to believe in a time ago, right now I have after passing through all that education, I think I have now seen like a different view of like education when it comes to technology, as we were discussing even before we came here with my colleagues, in the sense that when it comes to these technical courses, nowadays you really don't have to have formal papers. You know, it is a matter of what can you do. You'd find that somebody has a master's in computer science or a PhD in computer science, but somebody who has probably just a certification in computer science does a lot of things or makes a lot of difference compared to that person who has gotten and acquired a formal education. So from my perspective, it is not wrong to get a formal education, but I'd advise anyone who wants to get into the technical field to be passionate about it and try a lot of self-teaching. You know, like go to YouTube, learn how to program, learn how to wire the fiber cables. Teach yourself, because formal education, most of the time you'll end up wasting a lot of time that you could have used to teach yourself and achieve more. But I'm not against getting a formal education. Get a formal education, but at the same time, on the side, learn how to teach yourself, because there are a lot of things the formal education won't teach you. Out here, we have discovered that actually we didn't learn as much as we thought we learned, because when you come to the real world, you find the real things are so different from the textbook stuff that you have been doing in school.
Okay.
It is not a bad career, it's good, it pays well, but just try to just teach yourself a lot of things.
Yeah, thank you very much. Abdinur, you developed an app.
Yeah.
It is called Mluga, I believe, which aims to translate and help people to learn more. Let's take a quick look at Abdinur's app.
Iko shida hapa. Wewe hawezi danganya mimi tena. Mimi iko na dawa yako sasa.
Mimi ni mvulana. Arananu engayoni.
Waria, wapi nyamali? Pia mimi iko dawa yako.
1, 2, labo.
Uye someni sasa. Maabe tupambane na hii simba.
Hello, my name is Ahmed. I am a boy. Hello, magacaygu waa Ahmed, waxaan ahay wiil.
Niyadee kayreetu.
Anu woy.
Kipchoge kuchorwenyu. Sai.
Download the Mluga app for ECD Kids. Mluga Kikuyu, Somali, Borana, Nandi, Tugen, Kamba, Masai, Luo, and Arabic. Mluga ECD content available in your mother tongue. Mluga also promotes social cohesion and integration. Get it on Google Play now.
That was the very amazing app Mluga by Abdullahi Noor. Now I'm seeing a comment on Facebook, Basar Liwa Abdullah, who is saying, live show, thank you for it, you're very welcome. Now, that is all the time we had for today on Tech Tuesday, but tomorrow we have another show that will be coming to you on air. From me, the entire Sabah Show crew, my producer Isa, it is not goodbye, it is still we meet again.